a lonely, lonely man with no heart until you set me free. Now I can breathe, I can see, I can touch, I can feel, I can taste all the sugar sweetness in your kiss. You give me all the things I've ever missed. I've never felt like this. I'm alive.
Phil Neville, if you're an Everton fan, you might want to call Robbie Savage and Mike Parry, hosting 6:06 when we're done here at Old Trafford. The lines are open now. The usual number 0500 909 693. Let's have a word with Mike now. Mike, terrible at Bolton in the rain, and a great victory for Everton today.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. A fantastic victory for Everton. I have to say, what a crucial game that was for both managers before the start of this game, because, of course, Mr. Ancelotti is under pressure. We all know that. You say he's under pressure. He's just signed a £50 million striker, but that's why he is under pressure. David Moyes, as you just pointed out to Phil Neville, looked terribly morose after our last league game against Bolton, and today the lift for the club has just been enormous. I mean, I don't get it that Chelsea can now turn around and say we can concentrate on the Champions League and get ourselves up the Premier League. Remember, they could have been triple winners of the FA Cup. Not many teams have done that in the history of the great old competition. It was a fantastic result for Everton. Want to hear from Everton fans, obviously. Want to hear from Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans now, are starting to... I'm not sure if they give the benefit of the doubt to Mr. Ancelotti anymore. For the Everton fans, they've never doubted David Moyes, but I do want to see if the malcontents now are going to be a little bit quieter about the way the club's run under Bill Kenwright, the chairman, with whom I was with today. It was a fantastic occasion, believe me. I want to bring all the colour and the spirit of that great game to the airwaves over the next couple of hours.
And talking about teams who've maybe had better days who want to get back there, Mike, Nottingham Forest fans may be dreaming of a return to the Premier League. They were in League One not that long ago.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. They're hitting record figures now in terms of unbeaten games. A marvellous performance for them. As you quite rightly say, I think it's just 5 points now behind QPR, so they really are putting on the pressure on QPR, and if anybody's going to have a wobble at the end of the season, it doesn't look like it's going to be Nottingham Forest, who've run into fantastic form. We're also going to be talking about the wider issues of the FA Cup. I believe seeding should be introduced, Mark, into the FA Cup, but not from the third or fourth round when you can have the giant killing, but when you get to the fifth round, you've got to seed the competition, because the final should be played between two clubs in the top four. I don't want to sound unkind, but when Portsmouth and Cardiff reach the FA Cup final, it isn't as big an occasion.
I think you're going to get some calls, Mike. I look forward to listening to that on the way home. Robbie Savage and Mike Parry. Lines open now, 0500 909 693. Maybe for Crawley Town. Now it's time for 6:06. It's Robbie Savage and Mike Parry.
Thank you, Mark. If you've been to a game today, Mike and I want to hear from you now. Crawley, who are absolutely magnificent, Man United, Everton, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest and Sheffield Wednesday fans, we want to hear from you. Give us a call now. Lines are open, 0500 909 693. First, let's get the BBC News with Theopis Galatos.
On 5 Live.
Good evening, welcome to 6:06 with me, Robbie Savage, and yes, the man you've been waiting for, Mike Parry. Evening, Mike.
Robbie, fantastic to be here with you on Radio 5 Live. I was at the bridge this afternoon. Tell you all about that in the next 90 minutes.
Well, what a great result for Everton. Such a dramatic penalty shootout. Should have even have got to that stage. Was it or wasn't it a penalty? Is it a case of inconsistent refereeing, or should we give Phil Dowd a bit of credit? Anywhere else on the pitch, Mike, I think that's a free kick.
Yeah, I tell you, I thought the referee got it absolutely right. I've seen 4 replays of it. I think the goalkeeper got his fingertips to that ball. Right decision.
Well, listeners, let us know what you think. Was it a penalty or not, and what can we do to iron out inconsistent refereeing? I also want to talk about the 9 changes Manchester United made to their side tonight. People are mourning, but it's within the law. There's no problem with it, Mike.
Well, there's no problem with it within the rules, but it's against the spirit of the Cup. United saved themselves from being really derided this afternoon by bringing on Wayne Rooney at half-time. Good for them.
Well, I want to hear from the Crawley fans jumping in their cars now. Did they want to see the Stars? Mike, what's on your mind as well this evening?
Well, what's on my mind this evening is that the FA Cup now is big in the firmament of everybody. We're getting down to the 5th round, and in my view, we've got to introduce seeding at the 5th round stage. I don't want to see a Millwall, with the great respect to Millwall, in an FA Cup final again, because it's not right.
Well, I think that's a bit detrimental to the teams like I played in, like the Leicester, the Blackburn, the Derbies, because, again, with the media bias towards the top clubs, you may as well go out in the 3rd round if you're a Leicester club. If you know you're going to get a big team in the quarterfinals, you may as well go out in the 3rd round.
Giant killings in the 3rd and 4th round are spectacular, Robbie, and I'm all for them. But by the time you get to the 5th round, you want to make sure the 2 top teams in this country get to the FA Cup finals, the biggest domestic game in the world.
So, if you want to talk to Mike and I about any of those points, as well as anything from the Football League, Forest fans, fantastic result today. Only 5 points behind QPR with a game in hand. Can you win the championship? Give us a call, 0500 909 693.
Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Call 0500 909 693. Calls are free from most landlines, but some networks and mobile operators will charge. This is 606, the UK's biggest football debate.
On 5 Live.
To John in Liverpool, he's too as an Everton fan.
All right, Alan, if I had your face, I definitely would never have got married anyway.
Oh, that's very nice, isn't it?
My point of view.
Who's Alan?
Mr. Parry.
Absolutely, it's Michael actually, but we won't worry about
you know
that.
What I mean?
My middle name's Alan.
It's all right for you sitting next to Bill Kenwright.
Yeah.
With these games. Now I'm telling you now, I'm an Everton season ticket holder.
So am I.
Yeah. Do you go to games each week?
Sorry?
Do you go to games each week?
Well, of course I don't, because I live 250 miles away, but I've got a season ticket, which is my commitment to the club.
Well, let's go on to this point of view here, what I'm going to say here. Me and quite a few other people are voting with our feet next year. We're not going to get our season tickets until Mr. Kenwright decides to sell the club to someone who he's got to sell it to, because you can't run a business without any money.
But he'd love to sell it, John.
No, come on.
John, he would love to sell it.
Don't give me that one.
I'm not giving you that. He loves Everton, and he would sell it if he could find a billionaire.
Listen, there's no way in the world he'd love to sell. He's hanging on to that. How can a man hold on to a business and put no money in and take a wage out the club?
He doesn't take a wage out of the club. He's never taken a penny. He's never even charged the petrol to go to an away game.
No, he takes wages out that club, and the problem is he got rid of a great player there. And Stephen Pienaar.
He didn't get rid of him. He had to go. I'm sorry. Pienaar wanted to go.
Right, no.
Robbie, when a player wants to go, you have to let him go, don't you?
No.
Yes, I do. But John, can I just say something? If Bill Kenwright's still in charge of Everton Football Club and he's got his prerogative what he does, I think he should find 30 or 40 million pounds and give it to David Moyes, because I think David Moyes overachieves every single series with Everton. So for me, Bill Kenwright should pay 30 or 40, find it from somewhere, because if he doesn't, David Moyes can only keep overachieving for so long.
Do you know what? He'll get 30 or 40 million pounds next season, and I tell you what how he'll get it. By selling Fellaini and by selling Rodwell. And I'll tell you what else do you do, John? What else do you do with that money, Mike? He'll pay the debt off with that. He will not get players in, and that's what's winding every Evertonian up that goes this game. Great result today. I'm absolutely over the moon. I'm more over the moon for my daughter today than anything else in the world for that game.
We all are. We're
papering over the cracks like we did.
But we don't want to be a Leeds United, mate. We don't want to go into debt and slide down the leagues and all that. And
we're already in debt.
Yeah, I know we are, but we don't want to get any further in debt. And believe me, if Mr. Kenwright could find a billionaire to buy Everton, he would sell tomorrow. But he's not going to sell to somebody who hasn't got the best interests of the club at heart. Robbie, you know about the loyalties that the fans have towards clubs. They don't want to see their club slide down leagues, do they?
No, they don't. John, it was a valid point, but let's move on. Let's
pay Wayne Rooney's wages, £250,000 a week, whether you pay it to the subscription channels, whether you pay it through your season ticket. And what do you get in return? You get Wayne Rooney giving you a mouthful like that. That's who is directed at the world.
It's not his fault he's on 250 grand a week,
Of course it's not, but what I'm saying is that's why he's very high profile, because we regard him as a star within our society. Right here on talkSPORT, you're listening to Robbie Savage, you're listening to Mike Parry. It's 5 Live, it's 6:06, and it is 6:46. Back to 6:06 on 5 Live, you're listening to Robbie Savage and myself, Mike Parry. Let's get straight back to the lines. Let's go down to the south coast, Southampton, and talk to Martin. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Mike, how are you?
Yeah, very good indeed, mate. What would you like to say to us?
I think Wayne Rooney's making you lose the plot. You're telling us it's the wrong station.
Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, don't worry, I know where I am. It's 6:06 and 5 Live.
Just a lonely, lonely man with no heart until you set me free.